What's up, dudes? Peter from Panda here. Hey, want to show you a watch I just bought. This one's by So&co, not Soho, which is a line of watches they have, but it says New York. A fairly small company that makes fashion watches. I think that's the only product they have, and kind of trying to capitalize on the trendy, regional branded types of products. So&co New York, Shinola, Hudson River Watch Company. There's even a Minnesota watch company or something like that, or a Montana watch company. Anyway, comes in this box. It's paper, so it's cardboard, but it's textured and looks pretty good. Embossed So&co on there. As you can see here, there's the model. This one is from their Madison line, I believe. And what's interesting about this is that, kind of like the Hudson River Watch Company, everything's branded after a New York area. So let me see if I can tell you a little bit more. This one is the Madison, but they also have I almost remember Soho being one of them, Monticello, and then also Yacht Club. So there's a couple of different lines that they have, and this one is, please be sure to remove the small plastic tabs and then push the crown to start the watch. Okay, so it's interesting they put the instructions there. There's the plastic tab, which is typical on Quartz watches to keep them from killing the battery. Push that sucker in. And what I can tell you about this is, for being a small watch company, they build small watches. This isn't huge, but it's a good size, 39 millimeter stainless steel case. It has a mineral crystal. I can tell you right now, right off the bat, I'm pretty impressed. It's not a super expensive watch. You're talking about $40, $50-ish. The polishing is pretty nice. It's interesting in that it has this kind of a little bowl shape for the quartz Japanese movement in there. I'm assuming maybe a quartz Miyota. And it's kind of like a squished Arnold & Son watch in some ways. And typical, it's really very bold. And on the back there, a little of the kind of the laser etching, kind of the quilted pattern there with the So&co. Now, what I will tell you is this and symbol in the circle thing, to me, is a let's be gentle and call it an homage to Bell and Ross, which I just showed you one of my Bell and Rosses. I love that company, but it's a little bit, I don't know how I feel about that. Playing up the ampersand there, so it is what it is. And then it says, gives you some details on the back here. Water resistant to 99 feet, I believe, 30 meters, Japanese movement. It doesn't say what kind, stainless steel case. Back, hardened mineral crystal, New York, So&co. So, in this price point, there's a number of watches, but it's really easy to kind of get jacked and get a really poor quality watch. And what I can tell you is that I'm actually fairly impressed with this. So really, really thin. I don't know that I have a number here for you, but only 39 millimeters across. Nothing super, unique about the case, but kind of nice border thickness there. And just kind of really simple, I'll call it a simple, minimalist, modern style. A white dial here, and it's a flat dial. There's no opaline, shimmering or metallicness to it, but it's a bright white. There's no eggshell issue, no parchment tinge to it. It's just bright white, and the Arabic numerals, which are modern and kind of elongated, and then alternate with these hour marks, are really a gloss black paint, and I see if we can get it there. But you can see, it's gloss black, slightly raised, so there's just a little bit of depth there. Gives it a nice effect. You can kind of see the light shimmering off the edges. And, I like it. Black hands, which are just long, sweeping, needle-like black hands, which kind of fit with the look. I picked it up because I thought it's a nice, clean look. This is a leather watch band, and it's alligator patterned, although I don't think it's really alligator. You can see here it's kind of a little bit of a matte dull finish, which is nice. It doesn't have that kind of patent leather look, but I don't know, maybe it is. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. And the watch band is fairly typical in that, I don't know, it's it's maybe a 20 millimeter up here, and looks like it tapers to about an 18 millimeter on the end. A couple of those loops here, and then polished buckle here with laser etched So&co on there as well. You know, So&co, the name, I'm going to throw it on here. I'm going to tell you, I don't know if I'm really a big fan of that name, but I get it. You know, kind of this trendy thing. You know, this watch reminds me a lot of like Scoggins. I have about a 7.5-inch wrist. I threw it on here. And what I tell you is I probably use this second hole here just for comfort, which is not going to leave me a lot of wristband. I would say this watch is probably going to work best on someone who has 7-inch or smaller wrists. Is really where this one is going to kind of fit nicely, because I just don't have a lot of overhang here on the. Now that doesn't mean the watch is tight by any means. It's kind of right where I would prefer it. It's going to stay in place, and you can see here, thin, easy to wear, very light. You know, nice looking watch. I'm kind of clashing here with my sleeve, which is brown, but you know, and in fact, honestly, if I'd want to push it a little further up my wrist or something, I'd need even a little more space. But like I said, it's kind of Scoggin-ish or Braun-ish, a little bit of that Scandinavian style, which is probably why I picked it up, because I'm kind of into that thing right now. You know, but nice looking. Smaller wrists, probably going to look a little better, but I do like what they've done here. They have a number of watches in a lot of different styles, kind of gold, gold tone, because I'm sure it's not real gold, watches, divers watches. So what I'm pretty impressed by is for a relatively young brand, they have a huge range, you know, of watches that they're sourcing with some manufacturer somewhere. There's no indication here that these are made in the United States. There's nothing suggesting it, and they're certainly not Swiss because they're Japanese. But you know, I assume they're being made overseas, because at the $40 or $50 price point, that's what you can expect. Now, the cool thing here is that there's a little bit of a housing, kind of a little bump here that houses the crown. The crown isn't huge, makes my fingers look ginormous, but it's a fairly small crown. It's not super hard to get out. It's not super easy to get out either, but I pulled it out, and it's pretty easy to adjust. Overall, though, like I said, for the money, I'm pretty impressed with it. A nice small little watch, a lot of style, and modern looking. I think you're getting good value here. So Peter Von Panda for the So&co Madison white dial dress watch, out.